الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب فلا تكن في مرية من لقائه وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل وجعلنا منهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا لما صبروا وكانوا بآياتنا يوقنون إن ربك هو يفصل بينهم يوم القيامة فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam that without doubt we gave the book to Musa ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wassalam. فَلَا تَكُنْ فِي مِرْيَةٍ مِّن لِقَائِهِ. So be not in doubt about receiving it. وَجَعَلْنَاهُ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ. And we made it a guidance for the children of Israel. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given confidence to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam in three ways. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ فَلَا تَكُنْ فِي مِرْيَةٍ مِّن لِقَائِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a book to Had Musa alayhi salam. So this giving of the book and making of the Prophet is nothing new. It has happened before. And Had Musa alayhi salam was given a very tough time by the people he was sent among. So if the people are giving a lie to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is not new. And just like Had Musa alayhi salam, because of their the adversity that he got from people, he did not give up his work, or because of the claims and accusations of the people of Had Musa, his book was not false. Similarly, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has verily without doubt got a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not a new phenomenon, and that he will also face adversity from his people, and he has to be steadfast like all the righteous Anbiya before him have been. وَجَعَلْنَاهُ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ. And how it turned out that many people were guided by Hazrat Musa's message. And similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide many through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam as well. This is the third consolation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that your book and your followers will be there too. People will listen to you, and this book will also become huda and a source of guidance, and many will be guided through this. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. The next two ayat give confidence to the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in turn this is also a great news for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. Among the Bani Israel, among the followers of Had Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made A'immah. A'immah is the plural of Imam. Imam is the leader. So among the followers of Had Musa, there were many who listened to Had Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and became leaders of the people towards guidance, towards righteousness. So similarly, among the followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, there will be leaders who would lead people towards guidance and the truth. لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. These people among the Bani Israel, the followers of Musa, and the Sahaba as well. This is a message for the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, that if they have two things, they will become leaders. Allah will take the work of leadership from them, just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the work of leadership from people among Bani Israel who had these two qualities. One is sabr, one is being steadfast over the guidance that is given to them, having firm faith upon what Had Musa alayhi salam was teaching them, and staying away from disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfilling the requisites of that message, and in propagation and obedience of that message, whatever hardship came, they remained steadfast and faced it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So among the Sahaba as well, whoever understands the message and believes in it and stays firm in obedience and faces the hardship or the challenge that comes in propagation and obedience, Allah will take the work of leadership from them. لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ means that they have firm faith in the verses of Allah, in the signs of Allah. The ulama have pointed out that sabr, or staying steadfast over obedience and facing the hardship, is a practical thing, and yaqeen or faith is a intellectual thing. So why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, generally we say that faith comes first and action comes later. Knowledge has to be there first and action has to be, amal has to be later. But Allah is prioritizing sabr over yaqeen, steadfastness and patience and firmness over faith. Allah is mentioning that first. The reason the ulama say that the wisdom herein is that knowledge which does not bring out any practice is not credible in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning sabr first and yaqeen later, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants out of yaqeen is sabr. So for deliverance in the hereafter, if somebody has only faith and no good deeds, the principle is that they will be first, there will be rectification of their sins or lack of action, but because of their faith in La ilaha illallah, they would be ultimately brought out of the hellfire. But for being chosen by Allah to lead people and to be righteous leaders in the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one also has to have action over what they know. And this is a very important quality or a prerequisite of somebody who is an acceptable leader in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If somebody has only knowledge and no action, no practice, then they are not fit to be a leader in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not going to lead people towards guidance or goodness. So this is a consolation for the Sahaba, that you stay steadfast, Allah will take the work of leadership from you. Although right now you are in a miserable state, because in a worldly sense, that you are being persecuted from all sides, but there would come a time that if you stood steadfast and kept on believing firmly in the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there would come a time that you would become leaders of the people. And this was seen by the world, word for word, that it became true. The second consolation is, Inna rabbaka huwa yafsilu baynahum yawmal qiyamah. Even if no good outcome is seen in this world, ultimately on the day of judgment, Allah is definitely going to, your Lord is definitely going to judge between them. Fima kanu fihi yakhtalifun, in what they used to differ. That the right message was given to them, they used to create differences and turn away. Ultimately, the ultimate end is going to be in your favor, that on the day of judgment, definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to decide in your favor and against them, against the people who choose to run away and turn away. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذين هم أهلك وخاصتك. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.